seem like that long ago when we were talking about the theory of the in-season tournament. And I know you guys kind of mentioned Charlotte and Griff did too about, hey, point differential is kind of on our mind. So I guess how has that evolved over the year, this month, I guess, like thought-wise with you guys and a lot of just maybe league-wide from what you've seen of just investing in it, being like paying attention to it and having it be a thing, whereas maybe before it was just, you know, a concept and maybe not sure how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's similar to, you know, the idea of trying to win a championship, right? You need buy-in. And I think the NBA has done a great job of making sure awareness is high, making sure, obviously, you know, there's some, you know, cadence, consistency. It's Tuesdays, Fridays. It's when the wild courts are. It's every team's playing. It's, you know, groupings, things of that nature. And so I think that's just something that, like, the league wanted to make a point for. And I think, you know, having everybody buy into it is what's kind of made it successful, grown a little bit of hype. As it gets to a place where there's only 2 of those tournament games left, I think, you know, fans and players are starting to see, you know, where things shake out and how potentially point differential comes into play. And, you know, I personally think it's going to be elevated once people see it one year through, right? Like right now it's still kind of hard conceptually for some fans or, you know, your non-everyday fan to conceptualize and really understand what's happening or why it's of more importance. But I think as you get to, you know, the last game of the pool play, as you get to the quarterfinals, the semifinals, everyone's in Vegas, finals, like I think that's when we'll really see the success of it.
The games y'all have played in this tournament so far, have you noticed any difference in intensity level or anything like that? Do you expect that to come maybe later in these next couple games, or has there been any difference whatsoever other than the courts, obviously?
No, I mean, look, I think it's interesting because I think, you know, NBA guys are competitive as is, right? And so I think, you know, there's a competitive nature to every game. I think what has added a little bit of an environment to it has been, you know, the promotions that the NBA has done, the court changing, but mostly just trying to grow awareness with the fan base, right? Having you know, the knowledge that these games mean a little bit more, that these games are going to have a little more excitement to them, that, you know, fans are going to be in the arenas maybe earlier, or there's going to be more TV coverage about it, or, you know, they're going to be broadcasted on national television. It also helps that a lot of the games in general, I think have been pretty close. And there's been, you know, some last few minutes game pressure on teams. And so I think it's great for the NBA. I think it's great for, you know, the November, December time frame in the NBA as you lead up to Christmas and head into January and February. And I think, you know, they've done a great job with it in year one. And I'm sure, you know, they'll assess it as it goes through once it's had its full completion, run its course, and try to get even better on it next year.
I think defensively, you guys are still like 20th in defensive rating, like around there. You're a team that has been top 5 for the last 5 years. How do you guys as a team kind of not get too frustrated, it's different to see you guys kind of in that space right now?
Yeah, I think it's still a matter of consistency for us and still getting a feel for, you know, terminology and what, you know, coaches, you know, concepts are as far as, you know, ball pressure, but, you know, now Brooke is back, or obviously we do a lot of KYP, know your personnel tendencies, driven type defense. And so getting a little bit better about knowing guys' tendencies, knowing, you know, who we're running off of when we're talking about the switching, we're talking about Xing out and doing different things that, you know, we haven't done before. It's getting comfortable doing them, but then it's taking that next level of getting comfortable doing them while you're also having an awareness of who you're closing out to, because that might change how drastically hard you close out, which will put us in another, you know, obviously scramble situation. But to the same token, running guys off threes, that's important. That's important to coach. That's important to us. So some of them you're just running and flying at them just to make them not have a catch and shoot, make them dribble one more time, make them step in the line, make them step to the side, and just throwing that rhythm off a little bit. And I think we're still getting, you know, better at it, still getting better about knowing what to do when, and then how to do it, and when, obviously in the course of a game or in the course of knowing a guy's tendencies, you do what.
Maybe with that, like Brooke had mentioned after the Boston game, there was a time he helped when he's like, I know I shouldn't have. So what's that Is there a magic number? Is there a point in the season where you would think as a veteran group, we kind of know what we're doing and now we need to apply it more often, or is it really just organic? It's just, it could click tonight, it could click in a month. You know what I mean? Like, is there, like, in your experience, is there a time in the year where you kind of feel like we should get this, or we should?
You know, it's tough, right? Because I think you'd almost have to look back to, Bud's first year, because the interesting part about it is when, Bud got here, he implemented a new defense and new offense, stuff like that. Griff's doing, I think, a good job of implementing the stuff that he wants to do, but also trying to have a feel for what worked the last 5 years. But you got, 5 years of guys who have been programmed to do things a certain way. So it's almost like making sure we're not falling back into everything and moving forward with what Griff wants. But so like it's getting that understanding, and then it's like once you have it, now it's excelling at it. And I think that is where over time we'll get, I don't know if it's like a one game type click. I think it's more of a how do we be more consistent with it on a game by game basis and throughout the course of a 48 minutes.